Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel here, the Desert Dreams Homestead, where we are building our dream home here on our newly acquired 40-acre property in the southeast corner of Arizona. Today was kind of a big day as we had the power company scheduled to come out and set us up a power pole and run our 400 amp residential service onto our property. It's been quite the adventure. There's several videos, go back and check those out. Where we had a hard time sourcing the electrical box and doing some stuff. But today they did show up. A kind of a bittersweet day, man. It was really hectic. We're just finishing up for the day and getting some things put away. But you know, overall it was successful. But here, let me turn this around and tell you the story here. So here it is. We're all hooked up, and sure enough, the power company came out, and we've got our line connected there. And here it is running in the ditch. So there we go. We have power in our ditch running down to our brand new fancy power pole, as well as everything that goes with it up there, I guess. The transformer and all that stuff. So that pole is brand new. They just put that in the ground today. If you check out my page, I've got a couple shorts I'm gonna upload of them drilling that hole, setting the pole, and how they pack that pole in so it stands up. Kind of an amazing process. That pole is 40 feet tall and it only goes in the ground 6 feet, and that's how they hold them up. I was kind of impressed by that, that's all it was. But check out those videos and you can see the process of how that was done. And then they ran the pipe in the ditch here, or not the pipe, but the wire. And the wire comes in like a PVC conduit sleeve that is semi-flexible. The longer it is, the more flexible it is. So here's the pieces that they cut off the ends to expose the wires. And here, I'll see if I can't show this. It's rigid enough, it'll hold itself up. So as I pick this up, you can see it holds its shape in like this U shape. So they say if it's left out in the sun, it'll get warm and I should be able to straighten it out. But it's pretty rigid stuff, and I guess it could be used for all kinds of different purposes. So they were willing to take it, but I told them, go ahead and leave it here. I might find a purpose for it. So got that out of it. But here, let me tell you about the problems that got started first thing, and that was with our conduit. Oh, I thought for sure I was all set to go, but you can see the metal conduit there coming out of the left side. That is a steel pipe. And the guy that I was working with at the company did tell me that I was going to need to put in rigid conduit, but he was saying that the electrical lines were going to be in a flexible conduit. And so I was thinking rigid just meant like a hard pipe, as in the form of even just PVC straight pipe, not a flexible pipe. And so they showed up, and sure enough, it was not PVC. Rigid pipe certainly means the hard stuff, either aluminum or steel. And so out here in the middle of nowhere, to try to source something like that at the drop of a hat is very, very difficult. And they were only out here for the day, and if I didn't have all the stuff, then they charge you to come back out. So we called all over town, and a hardware store said they had it. And so sent my dad a drive-in an hour to the nearest town, which is Wilcox, that would have something like that. And he got to the store that told us they had it, and they sure enough didn't have it when he got there. I don't know how that happened. We verified it before we left. We knew it was going to be a long drive. We knew we would only have time to make it to one store and back before these guys were going to leave us. So it was disappointing, but you know, they kind of made up for it. They called some electrical contractors in the town, and somebody was willing to make this for us. They had some pipe laying around, and they threaded up one end and got it for us and got us the other things we needed. So that was a real saving grace. My dad got back here about 10 minutes before the time limit that they were going to leave us, and we were able to get this all hooked up. I was expecting to have power today. I thought I was going to be able to plug something in and get to work, but I found out once they got here that all they do today is run this line in the ditch and actually hook it up to my lugs in the box. But they don't put the meter in, and there's actually no power I can use yet. They have to come back. And up here at the top of this pole, the fuse is actually hanging out of the bottom up there. You can see the fuse dropped out of the bottom of that upper, I guess I don't know what that is, the thing at the very top. Hanging out the bottom, it looks like a long skinny piece. He says that's the fuse they have to plug in order to power the line and charge it. So on Tuesday, they come back out to put in the meter and actually do that work. And in the meantime, we have to cover this pipe. So that's another reason they can't charge it today, is the pipe has to be covered by at least 1 foot of dirt before they can charge it. So today's Thursday. It's the last day of the work week for us out here. We don't make the commute on the weekends. And so on Monday, me and my dad will be kicking this ditch wall in. We're not going to refill it with all of the, we're not going to use all this media that's out here piled up because that's really rocky. But the first 4 inches of the soil through here is really soft. So we're just going to go in. Here, I'll actually just show you right quick. So we're just going to take a shovel and kind of walk both sides. I'm sorry, the sun is putting shadows. And kind of just break like this, the corner, and knock down this soft stuff down inside. And so you can see that's already starting to cover the pipe just with that little bit I've done. And if two of us have a shovel and we're breaking in the edge on each side, it should cover it up a whole foot in no time. And so that's the plan, to get that covered on Monday real fast, and then they'll come out and hook it up on Tuesday. And I went ahead and already hooked up my temporary meter box here. And so this is all just a temporary setup. Just brought the wires out the bottom and right into the back of the main, and that goes in and hooks in to this 200 amp main here. If I can get this thing open. Oh, it's hard to do with one hand. There we go. So there's my 200 amp main that I'll be using as temporary power on this side. So that'll be Tuesday. And on Tuesday, when that gets energized, I will finally be able to plug in to that outlet and run tools out here. I have my air compressor, so I don't have to keep nailing everything by hand. So it's a good day in the fact that everything that was supposed to get done today did get done today. It's a little bitter because I was thinking we got power today. I was thinking this was the big day where electricity was going to be here and we could be used. But it's not that big a deal because there's nothing we were going to do between now and Tuesday that needed it. So Tuesday we actually get the power. And then of course the problems with the conduit. What a mess. Lots of driving around, a ton of phone calls to every contractor in town. But it was kind of a blessing. I'm so thankful to that electrician in town. They're just a company. They don't really sell parts to people, but they were willing to sell me that, knowing that I had the electric company here hooking it up and I needed to get it done. So that's the update. We got the power, we got the pole. You know, we just have to wait until Tuesday to get the meter, and at that time we can actually start using the power. So that's I guess another exciting day. I thought that was all happening today, but that's okay. So anyways, I really appreciate everybody that come and checked back. If you didn't see my video yesterday showing us putting on that box and kind of giving the update on that, go check that out. Also look in and watch the couple shorts I'm going to upload with this video of the actual work being performed of them drilling the hole. I tell you, it kind of made me feel justified when I was digging the holes for our gate up at the front. One of my first videos will show those gate posts. I purchased a gas-powered auger because I knew the ground was going to be hard to dig in. And we dug a little ways with that, but man, it was hard. This ground is so hard and unforgiving, and there's so many big rocks in it. It's really difficult to dig through. And we snapped the pin on the drive shaft of that auger twice, and the last time we just bent it, and it couldn't be used anymore. It wasn't coming off. And so we ended up digging the last foot or so by hand with like crowbars and hammers and stuff to dig those holes. And I felt like I was out of my element, and man, I just needed the right tools, or like I was doing something wrong. But if you guys go watch that video, they had a massive semi truck, or big diesel truck here, I should say, not semi, but with this drilling rig on the back. And when they were drilling that hole, it only had to go 5 feet with that big gas-powered auger, and that whole truck is jumping around, and it's really kicking through some hard rocks, some big rocks. So it kind of made me feel justified. Like, if I was able to do it by hand when it was that hard on that machine, I feel pretty good, even as hard as it was. So it was kind of fun to watch that and kind of see a big piece of machinery struggle almost as hard as we did by hand. So yeah, go check those videos out. They're not long. They're just shorts and of them raising the pole and dropping it down. So if you're interested in that stuff. Otherwise, check back next week. I'll certainly put a video up Tuesday showing that we got the meter in and the power connected. And that'll be the next big milestone. But please subscribe and follow along. As I like to say, we're just getting started. So this is the power, and we've got the well dug. We don't even have things hooked up yet. After this, my permit should be any day, and we'll get the foundation in. I'm building an ICF home. So that'll be a great thing to watch. We're DIYers, never done this stuff before. And so a new process is using the ICF. It's kind of a neat thing. I think it's going to be the most efficient thing for this climate, where in the wintertime, I mean, we get well below freezing. We've had snow and stuff up here already this year, but in the summertime, you know, we're going to hit 100-degree days. You know, it's the high desert, so it'll get warm in the summertime still. But yeah, so this house will do us really well. And then on top of that, I'm doing geothermal for my heating and cooling. And even though we are having the power brought in right now, that's what we're dealing with. We do hope to go solar and not be using the grid tied power at all. That's just so that we can facilitate our mortgages. This is not a debt-free build by any means, guys. So I don't want anybody to be fooled by that or thinking we're doing this debt-free. That is not the case. So I am just building it myself to save money, acting as the general contractor, and Arizona is really forgiving to that, which is really nice. Everybody's been great and helpful and full of information. So if you want to see how we do it and you want to follow along our story, it won't be over once the house is done. We're going to be doing livestock, and this is going to be a full working homestead. It's just going to take us years to build that up. So like I said, we're just getting started. Come along for the ride. I appreciate you guys, and we'll follow up next week. Thanks a lot.